to our beloved Dean of College of Education, Dr. Donabel A. Domelad, to most respected division personnels, to most distinguished panelists, and to my co-presenters, good morning. I'm so honored and humbled to present to you a research entitled Readiness, Difficulty, and Academic Performances of Students in Online Learning. Chapter 1, The Problem and Its Background. The coronavirus disease or COVID-19 crisis of 2019 has a significant impact on the world's economic, psychological, and social aspect as well as the educational sector by Rotas and Kahapay 2020. As a result, over a billion of students around the world have been impacted. Over 28 million Filipino students across all academic levels are among those who must remain at home and adhere to the Philippine government's quarantine regulation by UNESCO 2020. As a result, the Commission on Higher Education or the CHED 2020 states that to make the paradigm adjustments in the teaching and learning process in the Philippine higher education, they recommended to keep using available flexible learning and other alternative modes of delivery in a place of on-campus study. To meet the needs of students, particularly the 3.5 million tertiary level students enrolled in approximately 2,400 higher education institutions, some of the countries have implemented proactive policies to ensure that education continues despite the closure. Modified forms of online learning are included in these policies, with the goal of making student learning activities easier. We chose this study by its rationale, and in the last paragraph of the introduction, the majority of researchers were aimed at establishing or identifying student readiness and response to utilize online learning as a modality of learning during the COVID-19. Aside from determining student readiness, this study will also look into the difficulties and academic performances of students in rural locations to cope with the changing educational landscape.
Our statement of the problems aims to identify the level of readiness of tertiary students in Isabela State University, Kawayan campus, their readiness to use various applications in this new way of teaching and learning process, as well as their difficulties and their academic performance towards online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Specifically, this study will answer the following questions. Number 1, what is the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of age, sex, and average family income? Number 2, what is the students' online learning readiness level? Number 3, what are the difficulties encountered by the students in online learning? Number 4, what is the academic performance of the students in their online class? Number 5, if there is a significant difference between the students' online learning readiness and online learning difficulties of students and their academic performance in their online class when grouped according to their demographic profile. And lastly, number 6, if there is a significant relationship between the online learning readiness and online learning difficulties of the students and their academic performance in their online class.
Research hypothesis. We conducted the research hypothesis to determine if it is acceptable and proven in the findings of the study, and it will show in the chapter 4. Research hypothesis. There is a significant relationship between the student online learning readiness, difficulties encountered during online learning, and academic performances of the student in their professional and specialization subject. Significance of the study. The significance of the study is crucial for every research. The aims are This research will benefit students since it will enable them to prepare and gain knowledge in order to be aware and ready for anything that may occur during pandemic. This study will help teachers better understand the readiness, difficulties, and academic performance of the students in online learning, and it may act as a water-up call for how they handle it. This study will also benefit to the researchers by assisting them in the development of their cognitive, emotive, and psychomotor domains in terms of research.
Scope and the limitation of this study. This study focuses in determining the readiness, difficulty, and academic performance of Isabela State University, Kawayan Campus, Bachelor of Elementary Education students during the conduct of their online classes in their specialization and professional education subjects during the first and second semester of the school year 2020 to 2021, such as Technology for Teaching and Learning 1, Assessment of Learning 2, Foundation of Special and Inclusive Education, Teaching English in the Elementary Grades, Pagtuturo ng Pilipino sa Elementary Grades, and Teaching Math in the Intermediate Grades, Ethics, the Contemporary World, Life and Works of Rizal, Local Language Studies, Climate Change and Risk Reduction Management, Rhetorics, Rhetorica, and Foreign Language Living in the IT Era. The study is limited in determining the demographic profile of the student in terms of their age, sex, and average monthly household income, their online learning readiness level, the difficulties that they have encountered in their online classes, and their academic performance based on general weighted average in their specialization and professional education subjects. The study also aimed at determining the significant difference between their online learning readiness, online learning difficulties, and their academic performance in their online class, and when grouped according to their profile, as well as the connection between the students' online learning readiness and online learning difficulties with their academic performance in their online classes.
Definition of terms. Online class readiness. This refers to the preparation of students in adjusting in a new learning environment using modern technologies due to the sudden shifts from traditional to online learning modality due to the COVID-19 pandemic as measured by the Online Learning Readiness Questionnaire adopted from Williams 2021. Online learning difficulties. This refers to the challenges of learners face towards in using online learning during the pandemic, as measured by the Online Learning Difficulties Questionnaire adopted from Barat et al. 2021. Academic performance. It refers to the general weight average of the student in their specialization and professional education subject.
Chapter 2. The Review of Related Literature. This chapter discusses the related literature and will look in determining the significance of the current analysis. It also includes a summary of the art to fully comprehend the reader and to gain deeper understanding of the study. What is online learning? Online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic is defined by Mukhtar, Javed, Aru, and SETI 2020. Online learning systems are web-based applications that allows you to distribute, monitor, and manage courses over the internet. There are two forms of online learning. First is the asynchronous and synchronous online learning. Asynchronous online learning is defined by Rehman and Fatima 2021. Asynchronous online learning is pre-recorded lectures of learning content, videos, quizzes, and module assignments are uploaded on time. It is a pre-upload or pre-recorded videos that uploaded in online. In contrast, synchronous online learning simulates conventional education communication models to some degree by synchronizing teaching and learning, such as in live online conference and virtual classroom. Online learning readiness. According to Beyond 2018, online readiness examined the preparation of learners and educators, as well as the environment for successful digital learning. According to his study, he assessed students to using digital learning as their mode of teaching and learning process. The parameters of online learning readiness we adapt by Williams 2021. These are technology readiness, self-directedness of students, learning preferences of students, study habits of the students, and computer equipment capabilities of students. Next is difficulties. During online session, the student also mentioned certain difficulties they encountered, such as anxiety, poor internet connection, and unsuitable home learning environment, are all factors that are exacerbate for marginalized and remote students. And under the difficulty, the parameters adopted by Barota et al. 2021. These are learners' self-regulation, student isolation, students' learning resources, technological literacy, and competency. Next is the academic performances of students in the new normal. According to Reno et al. 2014, academic performances of students is the key feature and one of the important goals of education, which can be defined as the knowledge gained by the student that is assessed by a teacher through marks and educational goals set by students and teachers to be achieved over the set of period of time.
I am Julie Ann C. Acosta, and now let me discuss to you about the conceptual framework of our study. Conceptual framework, it consists the relevant variables of the study and maps out how they might relate to each other. In our study, it consists of three variables, which are the readiness, difficulties, and academic performance. Under the readiness, it includes the parameter of technology skills, self-directedness, learning preference, study habits, and computer equipment capabilities. Next is difficulties, that includes self-regulation, students' isolation, learning environment, learning resources, technological sufficiency, and technological literacy and competency. And of course, lastly, the academic performance. It includes the general weighted average of the students. So, these are the three most important variables of our study, such as the readiness, difficulties, and academic performance.
Research design. The researcher have employed the quantitative research approach, particularly the descriptive correlational research design, in order to determine the profile of respondent, their online learning readiness level, their online learning difficulties, their academic performance in their online class. The significant difference between the students' online learning readiness and online learning difficulties of students and their academic performance in their online class, which grouped according to their demographic profile, and the relationship between student readiness, challenges encountered, and academic performance in their online class.
So next is the respondents of the study. Our respondents of the study are the third year and fourth year students under the Bachelor of Elementary Education who are enrolled for the first semester. So our respondents was chosen through random sampling. Our data gathering procedures consist of questionnaire that administered through Google Forms and was shared through social media, which is the messenger, with an invitation letter. So to collect our data questionnaire, it will be given to random students from third year to fourth-year students from the College of Education with 100 participants will be chosen by the researchers, and the questionnaire was adopted from the professionals. The researchers, and with the help of our statisticians, tabulated and tallied the survey. The result would be the basis for readiness, difficulty, and academic performance in online learning. Besides, their privacy and confidentiality matters was mentioned in the consent form, ensuring that the respondents' information can only be used for research purposes.
Chapter 4. The Results and Discussion. Table 1 shows the socio-demographic profile of the respondents. With the 100 respondents, there are 74% female students and 26% male students who represent the BEED students in the campus. The respondents' age ranges from 19 years old to 27 years old. The table shows that the first group, ages from 19, 20, 21, and 22, got the highest number of respondents, while ages from 23, 24, and 27 got the lowest number of respondents. The respondents from third-year level got a total of 68%, and for the fourth-year level got the total of 32%, while the average family income is 60%, has an estimated family income of 10,000 and below. Presented in Table 2, the highest students respond on the level of readiness in the statement number 6, stating that they do not quit just because things get difficulty. As interpreted, often ready. The median responses is in the statement number 1, feeling they comfortable surfing the internet. As interpreted, often ready. However, the lowest level of readiness of students in online learning is also taken consideration by statements in the items number 9 and 5, being worried that some of them doesn't have broadband access to the internet Wi-Fi fast and reliable connection, as the descriptive interpretation of sometimes ready. The overall mean of 3.63 shows that the students' level of readiness are often ready to use online learning approach during the COVID-19 pandemic. The items tabulated in Table 3 elicit the level of difficulty of student in online learning. As shown in Table 3, there are two items, the 2 and number 3, with the highest mean score of 3.48 and 3.57. Indicating that they are experiencing online distractions such as social media during online classes, and they are experiencing distractions at home as a learning environment, while the lowest mean score of the level of difficulty of students in online learning ranges 2.61 the mean score and the 2.78 the mean score also. In Item 6 and number 8 indicating they do not have internet access during online classes and they have difficulties in learning new technology. Table 4 shows that it can be gleaned from the table that the respondents have general weighted average of 1.81, which is described that the students are doing well in their academic performance. Furthermore, it has a standard deviation of 0.28 indicating that their grades are not widely spread out. Table 5 indicates the mean score of the level of readiness by gender with online learning. The mean score of female respondent is 3.65 with the standard deviation of 0.56, while the mean score of the male respondent in the level of readiness is 3.55, which shows the lowest level of readiness by gender with online learning. Table 6 is based on the group descriptive statistical analysis and illustrate the mean score of the level of difficulty of the students by gender. The mean score of 3.03 for female respondent in level of difficulty is higher than the mean score of 2.97 for the male respondents. Table 8 shows the significant differences between the students' online learning readiness and online learning difficulties in their academic performances in their online class when grouped according to socioeconomic profile in terms of average family income. The result shows that the students whose average family income is 10,000 and below, with a mean score of 3.58, SD of 0.50. However, it was deemed that there is a significant differences between the students' online learning readiness with a p-value of 0.37 and the f-value of 1.17 at the significance level of 0.05. And the online learning difficulty level with a p-value of 0.48, f-value of 0.94, and the level of significance of 0.05 also, when the students are grouped according to their average family income.
Hello! I'm Paulita B. Bacaina, and I'm the one who present the summary and research translation of our thesis. This study aims to prove the level of readiness difficulty in their academic performance in the Bachelor of Elementary Education, specifically the third year and fourth year students of State University during the COVID-19 pandemic. It also provides recommendations that can be pursued by the students. The study was conducted at the Isabela State University Kawayan campus. The respondents were the third year and fourth year students. They were randomly selected using simple random sampling. It employed quantitative research and cross-sectional method. Pertinent of data were obtained through online survey questionnaires. The statistical tools used were mean, Pearson R, independent t-test, and one-way ANOVA. And the goal of research translation is to add the fields of growing body of knowledge. The findings of the study were summarized according to the statement of the problems, started in Chapter 1. The study revealed that the students' online readiness with a overall mean of 3.63, standard deviation of 0.53, with descriptive interpretation of often ready. The study showed that the students' online difficulties encountered during online learning with a overall mean of 3.1, standard deviation 0.57, with descriptive interpretation of sometimes. In the academic performance, the study revealed that the students have a general weighted average of 1.81, and with the descriptive interpretation of moderate high. It also reveals that their academic performance with the Pearson R value of 0.17 and the significance level value of 0.39 were greater than the significance level of 0.5. Therefore, there is no significant relationship among the online learning readiness and online difficulties in the academic performance. The significance difference between the students' online learning readiness and online learning difficulties of a student and the academic performance in their online class when grouped according to their demographic profile. In terms of age, the significant difference of age when it's grouped, the significance value of 0.72 in online readiness and 0.98 in online difficulty is greater than the significant difference of 0.05.
Conclusion: the majority of the respondents are female in their third-year college of State University. Traditional face-to-face classroom teaching continues to be preferred by the respondents over virtual classroom learning. In the online learning, they believe that they were emotionally prepared but not physically. The findings reveal that the students who have high preparation in online classes are not exempted from encountering difficulties before and during virtual classes. The findings demonstrated that the COVID-19 pandemic has a positive effect on the academic performances of students in their studies.
Recommendation. The following recommendations are hereby presented. The instructors should evaluate the readiness and important readiness for the student process which contribute to the success of their online learning process. The lowest student readiness will be motivated by the online learning experience potential students in the online learning process could perform well in academic performance. Students and learners should be consulted. Future decisions should also take into consideration how students feel, their views, their conditions, and their needs. Students should have access to materials without feeling discriminated against, left to feel helpless when they have a question, or unheard when they have an opinion or request. With a focus on ease of use, it is suggested that when it comes to enhance online learning at the tertiary level, the use and exercise of online learning should be user-friendly. The majority of students do not have access to online learning and frequently struggles to use technology that is relevant to online learning.
So here's the research translation of our thesis. This research study of readiness, difficulty, and academic performance of students in online learning will benefit for them because it will enable them to be prepared and obtain knowledge, to be aware of and ready for anything that may occur during the pandemic. This research will assist teachers in better understanding their students' readiness for online learning as well as their issues and academic achievement. And it may serve as wake-up call for how they will approach every student.